Hello, and thank you for joining me today. I'm your host, Swisa Cohen. 3 years ago, my family and I moved to Long Island with a clear mission to serve as the living bridge between the people of Israel and the incredible community here. Out of this journey, I created the Israeli Bond, a podcast designed to tell the story of Israel and its people beyond the headlines. We are here for the authentic, the personal, and the direct stories that bring us close together. This podcast is a production of the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center of Nassau County, New York, and it is thanks to their vision and support that this content is brought to you today. I have a very special guest with me today, Bernie Furshpan.
Very good.
Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate that.
Also, before this episode, I was trying to see how I can introduce you into our listeners, if there are listeners here that doesn't know you.
Okay.
But I can't.
I'm sure the majority don't know who I am.
Okay,
You have a big following, and you have an incredible series that I'm a big fan of. So, great work.
Thank you so much. But I would like you to introduce yourself to our listeners now.
Wow. Okay, well, since this is the Israeli Bond, I'd like everybody to know that I am Israeli. I was born, I'm not going to say the year, but a long time ago, in Jaffa, in a tiny little hospital that doesn't exist anymore, but it was in Jaffa. And then we lived in a little town called Yazur, which is near Rishon LeZion and Chulon. And when we were 6, my brother and I, our parents picked us up and brought us to Brooklyn, New York. So we grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I had a wonderful childhood from what I remember, not only in Israel, but also in Brooklyn. And I was a pre-med student. I went to Stony Brook University. And my eyes opened up to all the possibilities of the things that I could do. So I appreciated the fact that we live in such a great country with so many opportunities. And I got into cartooning, so I did cartoons for the school paper and magazine. And I got into marketing, and I decided to become a chiropractor. So I had a wonderful career as a chiropractor. I had one of the largest practices in the country. And I did it for 27 years. I worked 7 days a week. But I was also juggling. I'm a juggler with many other careers. I juggled marketing, comedy, real estate, seminars. I was a seminar leader, a business consultant. I did a lot of things, but I learned this from my father, who was a survivor. He was a Holocaust survivor. And I learned from my father not to be afraid to try something new, never to be afraid, and to jump in headfirst, just keep saying yes, and then you'll figure it out. And that's what I learned from him. So I had a lot of careers. I worked for a lot of big companies. I did concerts in Lincoln Center. I worked for companies the likes of NASCAR and McDonald's and American Airlines. And it was a wonderful, and then I bought the original Gotham Comedy Club, which was renamed the Metropolitan Room. My wife and I ran it for 8 years, and we had a blast. And all of this gave me a lot of skills, really a tremendous amount of skill sets, from marketing to communications to graphic design, to business, to organization, and I bring it to this place here, the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center, where I am the marketing director, but also put together this podcast studio, as you know. And so it's been a wonderful journey here in bringing all of the experiences I've had to make this place a better place in terms of how we communicate and how we tell the message and the stories of not just the Holocaust, but tolerance and humanity matters. So I think we're doing a pretty good job, actually. And you play a big role in that. And I appreciate it. I really do. Really mean that. You've done a fabulous job here.
Thank you so much. I assumed that maybe you told me before that you also was a chiropractor, but basically most of what I know from you is that you're such a talented, I would say, artist in like the performing arts. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen you so much, on the stage, but more so in the backstage, but everything backstage. From running this incredible studio here, giving place to many voices to be heard, and of course, directing, filming movies, So it was a great introduction, also for the listener, but also for me to learn more about you.
So try to memorize it so that you can introduce me next time.
Yeah, for the next episode. But the reason that we wanted to have this conversation today, so you only mentioned briefly that you were born in Israel.
Yes.
And it looks like since that time
I've been in Israel every year.
But mostly you were located here,
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, this is my home base.
But you kept this connection to Israel this entire time, right?
Yes.
Your entire life.
It's an Israeli bond.
This is the Israeli bond.
Absolutely.
But can you explain like your special connection with Israel, how it evolves along the years?
Well, first of all, I have family there, so it's always good to reunite with family. Reuniting with people is such a good feeling, isn't it? I love to go to an airport and just see families reuniting at an airport. It's a very, right? This
is a hobby?
It's kind of like a hobby, but whenever I have to go to the airport, I always enjoy watching people seeing each other for the first time in a long time. And each culture, and I've been to many countries, I've been to almost every continent, and every culture has their own way of reuniting. You know what I'm saying? Like in Japan, they just bow. You know, if I saw my mother after like 2 months, I'm running and I'm crashing into her and hugging
Is this
her.
Israeli?
It's very Israeli, very Israeli, very Italian too, actually. I noticed that the Italians do that too. So going back to Israel is a very good, meaningful experience for me because I reunite with my homeland and my family and the purpose. So it's always a good feeling to go back. It's kind of nice to be separated and it's nice to be reunited. You don't really appreciate something until you don't have it. So if you do that once in a while, you separate yourself from something that you take for granted and you go back to it, you appreciate it even more. So
I agree.
Yeah, so that's my experience.
But the reason that we call this episode today is to talk about a very special event.
Right.
That you've had only...
In December 22.
Yeah, a couple of months ago, which is called A Day of Hope. So can you explain what is A Day of Hope?
So for the last 3 years, I was involved with the Jerusalem Academy of Music and Dance. I did a couple of events here with a small committee to raise funds for the school because since October 7th, the government funding and supplements to the school was cut back. And so they needed funding. And so I tried to help them as much as I could because the arts are very important. I've been involved with the arts for many years. I not only had a nightclub, but I also produced concerts. So I understand how important, live performances are and entertainment. And because it's healing, because the arts actually heals people. Music and dance not only unites people, but it heals them. And those that perform actually are healers. They go around the world healing people, and that's what they do. And you go to a concert, you don't know who's a Democrat, a Republican, who's on the top, on the bottom, on the left, or the right. It doesn't matter, right? You don't know their opinions. We're all sharing the same common language, and that's the arts. And that's the beauty of the arts, is it does bring people together. So we have to find all the things that bring us closer together, that bridge the gaps, rather than discovering what separates us. There's more things that bring us together that we have in common. It's so true. It's a very small percentage of things that divide us.
I agree. But how this connection was formed?
So it was formed while I was here on the executive board. I'm the vice chairman. And I was introduced by Yolanta Zameka to the Long Island Concert Orchestra, which I am also a board member of. And they were trying to do an event. They were trying to put together an event to raise funds for the Jerusalem Academy of Music and Dance. So they got me involved, and that's how I've been involved for the last 3 years. And so about a year ago, I spoke to the president, Michael Klinghoffer, and I said, we need to do an event to raise funds, or at least raise awareness of your programs, to get you more students, to get you more funding and all of that. He says, how do you propose you do that? I said, I'm going to do something called a Day of Hope. And I reached out to a dear friend of mine who's a White House correspondent for a major news network. And he's also a singer. I managed his singing career. And I said, I got this idea to do this event at the school, at the academy in Jerusalem, and I'm going to call it Day of Hope. And it's going to be...
Wait.
Yeah.
wait, before you tell the entire story. So you wanted to raise funds for the school.
Right, and raise awareness of the school.
But up until this moment, how you did it, you usually like raise money here, right? Around New York.
Yeah, you have an event. You can have some kind of Friends of the Academy event. And you have either the president or somebody from the school representing the school at the event, and they speak about the event and what they need and what kind of funding they need and where people can donate and how they can donate. So that's usually how things are done.
So this is what the committee or whoever was like involved with this helping to raise money for the academy was working for 3 years, right?
Right. And we did do a concert here at CW Post. It was called Symphony of Hope.
Okay.
And we just did another Symphony of Hope to raise funds for the school, which we did at Malloy College.
Okay.
All right.
So you already did it here.
We've already done it here, but this was different.
Why?
Because Israelis have been put in a very awkward position since October 7th. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of dissent. There's a lot of bad will towards Israel. And we thought we want to create not only an event, but a documentary that elevates what they do, to make awareness of the fact that not only Israel, but this academy is a perfect example of what coexistence should look like. You have Druze, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Asian students working together, performing together, loving each other. It's a beautiful thing to see. And so we want to bring this to the world, to let them know that Israel is not what you think it is. You really need to go there. And if you can't, watch this film and you'll see what this school is all about. Because it's a microcosm of the entire country, isn't it?
I agree. So this event was not only just a regular event to raise funds, but it was more so this event was a way to tell a story that is bigger than just the event itself.
It's kind of public relations to some degree of what this school does. It is kind of like the Juilliard of Israel. It's in the Hebrew University campus. It's a wonderful program, about 1,000 students, great instructors and professors, wonderful human beings who were very excited about this event.
Okay, so you had this idea in mind. You called it a Day of Hope. Was it something that you invented or something that you got like inspiration from?
No, I just thought of, the name just came to me, honestly. And I called it Day of Hope, and I wanted to see if anybody else came up with this idea, and I didn't see anything online. I said, that's what we're calling it, Day of Hope. And Kelly Wright, who's the correspondent, said, what a great idea. And he was all about it. So I think a total of 15 to 20 people came from the United States to participate. Sponsors, performers, backers. It was just a great experience. But we had about 300 people at the concert in the evening. So that was the finale. But the Day of Hope was a 10-hour event.
Can you
elaborate?
Yeah.
Sure. So first of all, we had brought with us a couple of citations, like from Mazi Pilip, who gave me a citation for the school to declare December 22 Day of Hope in Jerusalem. Okay? I had Mike Huckabee, who I met with. He wanted to be part of it, but his daughter came in. She flew in that same night, so he gave us a beautiful video presentation to share with the audience that night. So we got a lot of support from him. We had a couple of people from, a couple of elected officials who were there. We had a Druze mayor. We had Muslim clergy there. We had IDF soldiers there. We had a couple of survivors from October 7th and their families there. So we had a candle lighting event at first. But before that, let me just unwind. In the beginning, we had the citations, the introduction to the day. And then the next thing is we went to a huge studio in the building. It's a beautiful center where there was dancing. It was healing dancing. And we had somebody from Zaka. Her name is Vered. You might know her. And so she participated and instructed, and we had an instructor from the school doing a healing dance. It was just a beautiful thing. People were crying. We had one mother of a soldier who basically jumped on a grenade and died for the 15 soldiers that he was protecting. She was there. Her name is Sarah, and I was crying with her. She was crying. I was crying with her. She was there to heal. And so she felt at this event, she felt the love. She felt embraced by all of us. And it's in the film. You'll see her crying.
The film that you're referring to is the film.
The Making. So it's called, the film is actually called The Making of Day of Hope. It's not really about the Day of Hope. It's about how it was made and the love behind it and the effort behind it and the collaboration with the school and the students and the people that came. It was just kind of like a love fest. It really was, to show the world what a beautiful thing it is to work with other people, to coexist with them. And that school and Israel itself is a perfect example. So after that, we had, I believe we had a lunch break, and then we had a round table with various students from all walks of life talking about their experience in the school. We had then another performance at a theater of an Arabic song. It was fantastic. Mostly Muslim students there and Jewish students performing together. It was a beautiful thing. The president of the school does not see the separation of students or the differences of students. First of all, he doesn't consider them, from different walks of life. He considers them all from the same one big family, but he doesn't say it's a Muslim student. He says it's an Arab-speaking student. There's a Hebrew-speaking student. There's an English-speaking student. That's how he sees it. So he removes that edge of the differences in faith. And just basically the only difference is just the language, and that's the way he sees it. So, and then we had the big event, which we had Gazal Mizrahi, who came from the States, and she sang. We had Itai Benda. There, he's terrific, and he's a very popular social media guy who sings in almost over 50 languages to people around the world who don't know he's Israeli. When they find out, they're like shocked.
But he sang in Hebrew.
He sang in Hebrew. And then we had the choir from the school. We had an orchestra. We had an ensemble. We had bands. It was just terrific. And what can I say? At the very end, people were crying. It was a very moving experience for all of us. The president couldn't thank us enough. He said that nobody's ever done anything like this for the school. So it definitely made the world aware, because it was featured on the Christian Broadcast Network, where 30 million people saw this event, and other media outlets. Now we have a film, and the objective is to get this film in festivals, to get it on television, and so forth.
Wow.
That's the story.
So more than it's a day of hope, it's a mission for hope, I would say.
Good. I like that. It is true. Very good. That's what it was. It was a mission.
Because at the end of the day, as you said, first of all, it was a full day. It wasn't just a night. It wasn't just an event. It was a full day. But there was a component of wanting to share hope with the world. And the hope is whatever happens inside this academy, right? Like the collaboration between people of different backgrounds, which is beautiful, and I truly love this mission. But I wanna ask you something a little bit like a harder question, because you're talking a lot about hope, and I've been here for 3 years, as I said, and here at the States, you're participating in so many events that brings you hope, especially within the Jewish community, and you feel that you're apart from something that is bigger, and you can see the greater picture, I'm not quite sure that the average Israeli do feel like that on his everyday, because by that time it was 2.5 years of war. Did you felt that also the Israeli on the street and the Israelis that you met there from different backgrounds could hold this hope, or it was just like a very big word, but not really
So you're talking about the average Israeli?
the average Israeli.
Right. I think they're very hopeful. They've been through this more than once, So it's really a resilient group of people. They've been trying to kill the Jewish nation for thousands of years. And there were genocides, multiple massacres and pogroms and all around the world, not just in Europe, but in the Middle East as well, as you know. And so we are the best of the best, and we are the most hopeful, because people who are not hopeful usually wither away and just don't want to be involved anymore. Those that are still there are a resilient group of people. I am so blessed to be part of this nation, quite honestly. I'm blessed to be a human being, honestly, part of humanity, but this is a very special group of people because they've been abused physically, emotionally, politically, on so many different levels for so many centuries that really you have the best of the best right now, the most resilient, and they are the toughest. And so you couldn't find a better example than the state of Israel. It's a tough country. You can't kill it. How can you not have hope? If it was falling apart and it was being defeated by everybody around them, it's not a nice neighborhood. Let's put it that way.
No.
Hopefully it'll be better now, okay? Hopefully people will have more respect for it and say, hey, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. And I think that's what's going to happen. That's my personal opinion. And I'm seeing it politically. If you listen to the news, you see with the Abraham Accords, maybe more countries will join and participate and say, hey, listen, if you can't beat them, join them. We can do more and better together than divided. And hopefully this is the way people will think in the future. So I think that Israelis are hopeful for the most part. It's scary sometimes and you can easily lose hope. But I think most of the people were very hopeful, especially with the people that we met at the event. That's why they were there, because they were hopeful. Otherwise, they wouldn't have attended.
That's a perfect answer. You're
Thank
right.
you.
So would you say that mission has accomplished in looking at this Day of Hope mission that you thought about before?
For this particular project, yes. The film has been made. We had a world premiere. We had a couple of hundred people watching it in Great Neck at a high school. It was received with open arms and enthusiasm and excitement. Some people were crying. They felt very moved by this. Like, who thought of this? And it's not something, and I'm not taking full credit because I'm as good as the team of people around me. And I had a great team of people who were willing to do anything to be part of this. Isn't that a great thing to hear? It really is. If I do it again, you'll be part of it.
Yes, because I'll be in Israel.
That's right. So that shouldn't be such a big trip for you. It should be pretty easy.
It would be easy.
If we do it again, yeah. The thing is, this was a one-time thing for me. It's a one-off. I'm not planning on doing another one unless they ask me to. They did imply that this was great and maybe we can do something like it. But right now, I need to take this film and spread it around the world in festivals and television and even TV interviews to discuss what happened.
So that's what's next. Basically, This is the...
We got to take this and use it. We have to milk it, as they say. We have to stretch it, get mileage out of it because it's documented. It's one thing if there was an event and people just talk about it. You can only talk about it so much. But when you have a film that you can use in media outlets, public forums, now you got a story that you can share with the world.
I love this. And, they found the perfect person to collaborate with because so many talents and so many qualities that you can both film and then direct and then create this movie and then marketing. You can share it to the world, PR. I'm not quite sure if they knew when they started to collaborate with you that this is what they're going to get.
They had no idea. Yeah.
They got more than they wished for.
That's what I'm told. I think I'm like an honorary graduate of that school in a way because it's kind of like a home for me now. So I love the people there. They're all great people. And they have a wonderful mission themselves. And the students are terrific. So I hope people can watch it. It's going to be available soon. We did a premiere. We got great reviews. We hope to get some more reviews so that we can get it on TV. And that's our
we will have the movie here in the notes of this episode for everyone that listens to us.
We'll show the trailer, right? The
trailer.
Yeah, not the entire film because it's a half hour long. But we'll show the trailer so people get an idea. We can play it right here. My name is Bernie Furshpan, and this is the story behind Day of Hope.
We are headed to the Holy Land.
Here at Dulles, I was greeted by Frosty the Snowman, who says, "Go to Tel Aviv."
In the end, we will stand again. We will send it out.
The idea did not start in a boardroom. We held Zoom meetings, planned logistics. We wanted to create a day that brought everyone together, all people under one roof, to recommit to peace, love, and freedom. We were building not just an event, but a community of supporters who believed in what the Academy represents.
And here we are, to celebrate this wonderful God-given gift called hope.
When we share light, we lose nothing by spreading it.
I think what music and dance and the arts in general can bring to the world now is hope.
The day had done what we had hoped it would do, and more.
As Israeli, I really hope that this Day of Hope will become a program of hope or something like that, because it sounds so wonderful and such a great initiative that it must be carried up.
Oh, I agree. And what better country to do it with than a nation of people who have a national anthem called Hope?
You're right. Never thought about that.
Absolutely.
I never thought about that.
This is the most hopeful. Moment. It's got to be the most hopeful nation in the world, no matter how oppressed the people want to make them and how they want to destroy. They come out of it like a phoenix, rising from the ashes, stronger and better.
This is so beautiful. You're right. Never thought about it up until now, but you're right. So, Bernie, thank you so much for sharing the story of A Day of Hope and the film of making the Day of Hope with us. And thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Israeli Bond on HMTV. I appreciate my guest, Bernie Furshpan, for sharing an insight and the entire story behind A Day of Hope and the film Making A Day of Hope. If you enjoyed exploring the information, history, and stories of today's conversation, be sure to check out our other podcasts here on HMTV. Please subscribe, share, and stay connected for more engaging conversations. Until next time, take care and be well.